Time moves, for us mere mortals. And sadly, it is 30 years since we lost television gardening expert, Geoff Hamilton. Born Geoffrey Stephen Hamilton in Stepney in London in 1936, he came to prominence on television as the host of Gardener's World, taking over from Percy Thrower. He presented the show for 17 years, and during that time, hosted other shows related to gardening, such as Ornamental Gardens and Paradise Gardens. He sadly passed away on the 4th of August 1996 from a heart attack whilst taking part in a charity cycle race. On what would have been his 90th birthday, as a tribute, I present to you his last series, Paradise Gardens.
Welcome to civilization. This is the way most of us have to live these days. The smell, the noise, the choking exhaust fumes, to say nothing of the frustration and the stress. There's got to be a better way. And this, I think, is it. Of course, most of us have to involve ourselves in the hustle and bustle of modern life because that's the way we earn our livings. But it's just about as far from our natural state as it's possible to be. So I believe that if we're going to cope with this modern madness, then we all need a safety valve. And gardens have served that purpose for centuries. The very first pleasure gardens as we know them were built in the Middle East, and they were seen as an escape from a hard and violent life and of course intolerable heat. They were looked on as a recreation of heaven on earth, and they called them paradisos or paradises. They were used as places to get close to nature, to calm the nerves, to rejuvenate the spirit, and to refresh the body and soul. I believe that we all need that kind of therapy today. A quiet place, surrounded by the colour and perfume of flowers and disturbed only by the gentle hum of insects and the song of birds, where we can get away from the mad rush of civilization and back to our natural roots. Just like those ancient Persians, we all need our own private paradise. Oh, Francesca, this is real high romance, isn't it? Wonderful. In this series, I'll be introducing you to people who have created gardens that are real havens of peace and contentment.
It's 15 foot wide, 12 foot at the narrowest, and 120 foot long. So,
that's got to be impossible to design. And I'll be showing you step by step how you can do the same thing in your own garden.
As I searched for those garden paradises, I realised that some of the best ones were created by people who didn't even have to try. I travelled to Oxfordshire to a small village where I found a couple who seemed virtually untouched by modern life. Spending the day with Millie and Horace Hunt, I felt as if I'd stepped back into another world.
This is a lovely country garden, Millie. What's this bit up here?
Bit of a muddle, really. There's lots of flowers up there. The
This
old
is
Esther reeds and the...
Your
the
wildflower section,
yes,
isn't it?
that's right, yeah. Corn cockles and lots of feverfew and foxgloves. And I don't have to remember all the names, really.
Where do they come from?
They seed themselves mostly. If you bring one plant in, they soon spread, don't they? Especially the Matricarium.
So what did you
And,
do? You bought a plant from
just
a garden
one or two
centre?
plants. Well, actually, I saved the seeds of the corn cockle, and that's big, lovely big seeds.
Yeah.
So just spread it around, hoed it in a bit. It's good.
Super, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it's very good. This is Miss Wilmot's ghost. They get whiter and whiter as they get they develop, don't they? I think
Now that
they're
one's
lovely.
a biennial,
But
isn't it? Does that seed itself too?
Yes, nearly every year. Yeah.
And look at the
They're
bees
so
on it.
beautiful, aren't they? Yeah. The old
Absolutely covered in bees.
yeah.
Beautiful. What
Just
sort
because
what
it's-
sort of work does this involve?
A lot, really,
Does it?
yes, yeah. Such a lot of stuff to dispose of, either burn or compost or fill the old wheelie bin now. But, I was overwhelmed with weeding this year. I just thought at one stage I never would keep up. It was terrific.
You have to sort the plants out from the
Oh,
weeds, the
that's no
seedlings out from the
problem.
weeds.
Oh, that's no problem.
How do you
really.
do that?
Well, I let it get big enough to be quite sure which is which. Not like Horace, have it weed free.
Because Horace goes
he
around with
just-
his hoe, doesn't
but
he?
then
all the time?
he would hoe up a lot of things here that I would want to leave. I know I had an operation, I broke my arm, and I looked out of the bedroom window and I said, "What are you doing on there? You don't pull that up." Poor Horace sort of shrank back.
You do the flower
pretty-
garden
yes,
and Horace the
pretty
vegetable
well.
garden.
Definitely
like
his
things
and
in straight
hers,
lines.
really.
You've got some mighty good crops in here, I must say. You obviously eat a lot of red currants because this bush down here is loaded, isn't it?
No, I don't eat them myself, but
You don't eat them, so what do you do with a crop like this?
pick them and sell them.
You sell them, do you?
I picked £70 of currants in one day off of there to get the order.
Did you? Yeah. So the money you make from that, does that help to pay for your garden?
Yes, yeah. A pound or two is always handy somewhere. Isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Quite a crop of gooseberries too.
Yes, they've done fairly well.
Do you always get a good crop like that off your gooseberries?
So far, yeah.
What do you do with those?
I'll sell them to anyone who wants them.
Well, I saw...
I've made wine with them before now.
Oh, do you? Yeah. You obviously eat some as well, because I saw Millie topping and turning some.
Well, I'm not sure, but they're a bit acid for me.
Tell me, Horace, where did you learn your gardening?
Well, from your parents,
On the
brothers,
allotment, really, I
whatnot,
suppose.
and
They all grew vegetables in the allotments.
as soon as
didn't
you could pick a tool up, really, and you'd got to help do things in those days.
Yeah.
There was no dole or anything. You'd got to get some means. If you couldn't get work and money, you'd got to try and help yourself grow
You
something.
starved.
So, Millie, how long have you lived here?
I was born next door and we moved here when I was about 10. Is that right? I think that was right, wasn't it?
1927
So I was-
when you moved into it.
So I was 70, so I've been here 70 years.
So you've always
Yes.
actually lived within 50 yards of
Yeah.
here? Yeah.
Used to be agricultural, of course.
There are still farms, but more on the outskirts. They used to be right in the village, didn't they? I mean, cows and pigs, you know, just... I used to drive cows all up the village street, right from here up over the bridge, into the little meadow up there. We used to call it Whistler's Meadow then, wasn't it?
And who lives here now?
Pardon?
Who lives here now?
Oh, well, quite wealthy people, some of them, I suppose.
The knobs.
But I know then, this has been recorded.
Well, you live in a wonderful place here, and you lead a very quiet and very simple life. Do you class yourself as rich?
Rich? I've never earned £30 a week in my life.
Is that so?
So where can I get rich? Off the pension?
I think
Well-
we've got all we want, though, really. We've decided we're going to stay and hope we'll die in the garden. I do anyway. I don't know about Horace.
I nearly made my mind up to be buried at that piece of garden there.
Under the walnut tree, amongst the roots. We thought that should be fairly sort of safe from...
So, Millie, do you look upon this as your own little earthly paradise?
Yes, it's got to be, hasn't it? I think so, yes. Know every inch of it now after all these years. All my own work, really. Well, bar what Horace has done. He does the topiary and helps look after the fish pond. He did build that, by the way. But, yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, Millie, that while I've been sitting here talking to you, you haven't stopped smiling.
Well, why not? There's no reason why I shouldn't smile, is there? Very happy life, I think. I think a lot of people would like to take my place, actually.
I think you're right. If you live in a big city where people are inevitably crammed together, then you really just have to accept the fact of a community existence. OK, once you've shut your front door, then you've got your castle and that is your privacy. But then as soon as you step out into your back garden, of course, your neighbours must be on top of you. So I've come to the city of Cardiff to see how Felicity Norton copes. As you walk in here, I mean, you probably wouldn't notice it anymore, but to me, it's a perfect country garden.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It's
I tried.
Absolutely lovely. And it's filled with colour and perfume. Really nice.
Yeah, see the roses.
It's a very funny shape, though, isn't it? I mean, what are the dimensions of the garden?
It's 15 foot wide, 12 foot at the narrowest, and 120 foot long. So,
That's got to be impossible to design, isn't it?
It is. Well, I've kept the paths down to as narrow as possible to get as many plants in, you know.
Even so, you've got all sorts of little features.
This is I made a little sort of sitting area and a pond.
That's lovely.
You've got to have water in a garden.
Yeah, absolutely.
Full of frogs and everything.
The thing that really gets me here is that you're right in the middle of the city, but it's so quiet, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Well, look, we seem to be buffered a bit, you know, because we've got the mature tree and the hedges, and we've got Maureen's house there. You know, it's sort of absorbing the sound, which is quite nice.
So plants really can do that.
Of course they do. Yes, yes, they create breaks, don't they? You know, and they do. Yeah, I like to come and go in the garden and not be seen, like we all do. So I've planted like herbaceous things. They come up in the summer when we're mainly, say, using this area, and Maureen doesn't mind too much, and then they sort of die down. Nothing too permanent.
But I suppose from the top windows, the neighbours can still see you.
Oh, yes,
so
yes.
you've got all sorts of little hideaways.
Oh, yeah. I wanted you sort of walk 6 foot and then never sit down. I've made different areas. It's like I've got, like where I've got all my fern collection, and that's very shady because the garden is sort of south facing and the sun's in the back, luckily, practically all day. And then you come out of there, up onto the brick path, and you turn left, and you've got sort of, I tried for a Mediterranean hot area with a shady seat at the back. If I want to cook, you know, I sit there.
I'll tell you what, Felicity, I could stay here all day.
Yeah. Come on then. And then up the corridor, about halfway along, another bench put in, again with the clematis going over. Étoile violette, I think. And that's quite nice to sit in, and again you've got a different perspective. And then at the end I made a shady retreat area with a golden hop, because it's nice when you're down by the ferns, you can look right up the garden, you just see this gold arch thing. But I put mirrors at the back, so it looks like the garden goes on and on and on.
That's rather clever, isn't it? And the garden's absolutely filled with perfume too. It's great in the city, isn't it? You know, not a whiff of carbon monoxide here, or carbon dioxide.
Oh, no, that's what I wanted, because first thing in the morning, come out, breakfast, cup of tea, sit there, getting ready for the day, and you've got, you know, the honeysuckle, the jasmine, and I can come home to it as well. It's lovely with a full moon. You get the lovely sort of harvest moons, and you sit there and all goes quiet. Everybody's in watching telly. Well, be a bit naff and say it's food for the soul. Really, it's so hectic, you know, day-to-day grind, and you come out and you sit somewhere beautiful, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, I get all soppy. But it is, I think, oh yes, food for the soul, when you feel regenerated and rejuvenated, you know, by it. It's better than Valium. It's soothing, it's tranquil, it's that thing where you switch off. Like some people sort of come home and have a gin and tonic or something to switch off. Well, I can come and sit in my garden and it's just off.
For many of us, the chance to lose ourselves in our gardens is the perfect antidote to the pressures of modern urban living. But as I found out, even an Anglican friar like Brother Vincent still needs his garden.
Well, Brother Vincent, you have, apart from the odd aeroplane or two, a wonderfully quiet, secluded garden here. How long have you been gardening it?
I've been gardening here over the last 5 years, quite consistently, but prior to that, I made a start a little over 12 years ago in clearing the stinging nettles and revealing many of the trees and shrubs that had been planted at the end of the 50s and early 60s.
Well, it rather looks as though you're in the position of nature continually trying to grab back what you've taken.
That's right, indeed.
But here and there, I mean, you've got wild plants coming through here,
That's
things
right.
like the buttercups and the campion, etc., which I think actually add to the garden too, don't they?
Yes.
And looking around, it strikes me that you're a bit of a rhododendron and azalea enthusiast.
That's right,
right,
that's indeed. Yes, I think rhododendrons, magnolias, camellias would be my major love. But I think I'm aware of the the variety of colour here, particularly the greens here, different shades of green, but also the smell, perfume that one would come from azaleas and from other plants.
Let me ask you a cheeky question. All around us there are beautiful plants, including lots of wildflowers, which God has brought to you. But God has also brought you the nettles and the rest of the weeds. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm certainly happy in a way for them to be around here. Otherwise it would be very formal and perhaps in a sense without at one level much life. But the stinging nettles, campion and other wild plants around just add, I think, and give some body, as it were, to the garden.
Now you're quite a busy person here. What else do you do apart from the garden?
I'm also the community's tailor. I've worked for many years originally with a team of 4 brothers. There were 5 of us originally in the tailor shop here. So I combine tailoring with developing the garden here.
Do you feel you get enough time in the garden?
There are times I think where I would like to spend more time here, yes. But I obviously have to balance that. It wouldn't be right to spend all the time here, otherwise we should be going around in patched habits.
Now, occasionally you have quiet days. And what actually is a quiet day?
Quiet day would be when there would be just 2 brothers who would be responsible for looking after the friary, responsible for the meals, answering the telephone, dealing with the postman. That allows the rest of us to spend the time quietly, either reading a spiritual book or actually some of that time in prayer. I like to come down here often on a quiet day and work quietly myself in the garden.
After a day spent with Brother Vincent, I felt as if I'd stepped back in time once again. His ability to find such a deep satisfaction and simple joy in his garden is a sharp reminder of what too many of us have lost in this modern world. Certainly, the spiritual dimension is the key to the very earliest Islamic paradise gardens and to those created by monks and friars in medieval England. But they weren't the only people with gardens then. I went to see gardener and historian Francesca Kay, who is in charge of Tretower Court in Wales, to find out just what else went on in medieval gardens.
Oh, what a wonderful old house, isn't it?
Isn't it lovely?
Lovely.
Yeah, wonderful courtyard.
And how old will it be?
Well, the house in its present state is really late medieval, and it was owned by the Vaughan family.
Well, that's about 15th century.
Yes, that's right, yeah. And Sir Roger Vaughan, who lived here in the late 1400s, really built and developed the house.
Mm. But this is his garden. It's a very beautiful...
Right, yes.
And this is a genuine sort of medieval reconstruction, is it?
No, it's a recreation, because there wasn't a garden here to begin with, and in fact no medieval gardens survive at all.
Oh, why were structures like these so important to medieval people?
Well, an arbour like this was meant to create a green shade so that all the highly born medieval ladies could walk up and down and enjoy the flowers in the open air, but remain pale, not be touched by the rays of the sun.
Why was it so important to stay pale?
Well, it was to show your status and your wealth,
because it showed that you didn't have to go outdoors and toil.
As you walk through the tunnel, you're absolutely surrounded by perfume, aren't you?
Yes.
Which must have been quite important in medieval times, because there were some pretty nasty smells around, weren't there?
Well, there certainly were, yes. I mean, they were very smelly and unhygienic times. And so anything perfumed is really much prized. People lived more communally in those days, so there was less privacy, even for the great ones of the medieval time. And I think the chance to just wander away from other people was probably much appreciated.
There are lots of old prints which seem to suggest that these gardens were used for things like love, for example.
Oh gosh, yes. Well, courtly love was a wonderful system of manners and behaviour that was developed to make the wild fighting barons and noblemen behave themselves a bit when they came home from fighting. And it was to do really with being a bit restrained and civilised, and doing things with your brain rather than with your sword arm. And you had to have a great lady of the house, and she would have a suitor or suitors. They weren't her husband, but they were her suitors. And a place like this was a place for courtly love. Now over here we have a turf seat, a little turf place to sit with daisies growing up and the roses behind. And this is the place for courtly love. And to explain it properly, Geoff, I really need you to play a suitor, and if you can imagine it, me to play a medieval lady. So will you come over with me? And he would be in a frenzy of anticipation. So I'd quite like you to look a bit more frenzied, if that's
I'm doing
possible.
my best.
And when they met, he would have to offer her something that he'd done with his brain. So he would read to her a poem, perhaps, or something that he could actually read, or show her a piece of writing. He might even sing to her and offer that to her as a symbol of his pure love. But he would have to do it, I think, for the sake of historical accuracy, on one knee. Would you?
You want
would
me
you
to
mind?
do this, don't
Would
you? I can see.
mind?
Well, prithee, fair maid,
Yes,
give me
indeed.
your heart.
Indeed. Now, offer me something that you've done with your brain, Geoff.
Oh my God. And did the ordinary chap have his little garden as well?
He probably had a little garden to grow things in, but a pleasure garden like this one was really only for the most wealthy. It was a real status symbol to show that you could have a little piece of ground that didn't need to be cultivated, and where plants were grown just because they were beautiful, not for any particular reason. The medieval world was often very confusing and anarchic and strange. Although it was a time of very strict rules that governed who you were, even what you wore and what you ate was governed. But the reality of medieval life, I think, was often more chaotic than that. And so an enclosed garden where nature was trained and where you felt safe and secure was probably much appreciated.
I believe that we all need that kind of therapy today. Now, it may be that you live in the city, walled in by bricks, concrete and tarmac, or perhaps on a crowded housing estate, overlooked on all sides by your neighbours. Even in the country, you may be plagued by the noise of traffic or aeroplanes. So it would be understandable if you felt that paradise was impossible to achieve. But believe me, it isn't. So next week, I'm going to start to show how to make real havens of peace and contentment in your own garden.